Hi, Mai here. Welcome to Sustainabuzz. We are on a mission to help you integrate sustainability in your organizations, one buzzing topic at a time. Catch new episodes every last Wednesday of the month only here at SustainablePH TV, your community channel for anything and everything sustainability. We are composed of volunteers from various sectors who are considered sustainability champions. We all aim to be responsible stewards of our resources so that we can make impactful changes to benefit the future generations. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you can be updated with our latest shows. Today, we will talk about how to prepare your company's first sustainability report. We have with us a reporting expert who has been helping several Philippine companies prepare their sustainability reports since 2013. She was the first Filipino on the 2019 GreenBiz 30 Under 30 list, and she currently heads the sustainability reporting and compliance of a power utility company here in the Philippines. Apart from that, she is also my fellow co-founder at SSP, a community for sustainability practitioners who are working towards elevating the sustainability practice here in the Philippines so that together we can achieve a sustainable country. So with that, I would like to introduce our sustainability expert, reporting expert, and champion, Abby Bonita.
Hi, Mai. Good evening. Thank you for inviting
Good
me.
evening, Abby. Yes.
Hello.
Good day, good morning, good evening kung kailan man nanonood ang ating viewers. So thank you, Abby, for taking the time to talk about this very important topic, no, sustainability reporting. So I would like to jump directly to our questions. So for you, Abby, what is the purpose of sustainability reporting?
I think from the time that I started doing sustainability report for corporations, it changes. In the past 3 years since it was already required by SEC in 2019, because before then I think corporations have a flexibility in terms of really identifying the why of their sustainability report. Some uses it as another avenue to communicate their sustainability efforts, which are not reflected on their annual report. Some uses it as a sustainability toolkit for their internal employees, as a resource tool to be a reference guide in terms of defining what is sustainability for their organizations. But I think right now there's a more focused purpose of having a sustainability report aside from compliance. I think as a reference for our investors in assessing our organizations, if aside from achieving profitability, we're also doing our part as an ethical business, making sure that we are also thriving in terms of our social and environmental initiatives. I think there's um, a jump in terms of right now there's a more open purpose in terms of having a sustainability report.
Mhm. Thank you, Abby. So given the evolution of we could say evolution of the purpose of sustainability reporting from the time you started, no, what do you think makes up a good sustainability report?
I think this one doesn't change in terms um, of parang definition of what makes a good sustainability report. I think a good sustainability report, first and foremost, is a very transparent report. Good or bad about your performance, you're able to share it and take accountability out of out of it. So aside from having a good story, I think you should also a good sustainability report is also an avenue for organizations to address issues pertaining to their organization, specifically if most recently due to the recent pandemic. I think it's good to highlight what are your initiatives for your employees in terms of COVID response. How do you take care of your communities where you operate? So I think that makes a good sustainability report, telling a good story about your organizations, and make it as an avenue of addressing issues for your organizations.
Mhm. Thank you, Abby. So parang sustainability reporting is, of course, telling a story about your organization, but it's not just the good ones, the good stories. So it's a way for you to be transparent when it comes to addressing the important issues for your various stakeholders. Right. When
Yep.
writing a sustainability report, no, can you walk us through the key steps? I know you've been reporting all for the past few years, though. But if you could give our readers, our audience, an overview of how do you actually prepare a sustainability report?
There's now an evolution in terms of preparing a sustainability report. Because previously, again, there's a flexibility because um, there's no regulatory requirement. So there's no one else telling you how you should write your sustainability report. You can refer to various reporting standards. Unlike today, there's specifications in terms, I mean, there's a technicality now in terms of which standards to use, because first, there's a regulatory requirement. Second, which reporting standards does your investors or your ESG rating agencies are specifically looking for. So now I think it's more technical. So I think there's the key steps you have to understand, and you have to identify which among all these reporting standards are relevant to your organization and relevant to your industry. I think that is the first key step in preparing your SR.
Mm-hmm. And given that that's your tip, no, which of these reporting standards, because there's a lot which are relevant, no, how do you try to understand which are relevant to you as an organization, as a company? How do you identify which ones are relevant to you?
Mm-hmm. Personally, we take our parang three step or our three criteria in terms of choosing which sustainability reporting standards to use within my organization right now. First is what is the regulatory requirement? So now in the Philippines, you have the SEC reporting guidelines. So that's first. You should refer on that. Second is among our industry, which ones are being mostly used. So again, in our case, we have SASB because they identified the material topics which our industry should be covering in our sustainability report. So we also refer on that standard. And lastly is in terms of bringing forward your use of your sustainability report, which later on, hopefully, your organization would use it as part of their business strategy. So we have TCF, we have science-based targets that can also be our guide in terms of making sure that all our indicators are something similar than our organization. So there's also UNSDGs, United Nations UNSDG goals, which you can also refer as your reporting standards. So yeah, for us, we were guided by those three criteria in terms of choosing among all these reporting standards.
Mm-hmm. That's a helpful guide. So regulatory requirement, industry
Mhm.
requirement, and strategy requirement. Did
Yep,
I capture it correctly? Right. So
yep,
that's a
yep.
really good guide for our first-time reporters. Especially, it's easy to be overwhelmed with the various frameworks out there. You mentioned
Agree.
earlier about material topics. So what do material topics mean in this context? Though? So I think in reporting, right, materiality is something that's always talked about. And how does that fit into the reporting process?
Again, as you've mentioned, sustainability can mean a lot to various organizations and to various industries. So the materiality process is our guide in terms of with among all these list of requirements in terms of sustainability KPIs. among this really reflects our performance as an organization. So part of the reporting process, particularly as prescribed by the Global Reporting Initiative's Reporting Standards (GRI), they specifically have a undertaking requirement for any reporting organizations to have their own materiality process. It will be their guide in terms of which particular indicators should be reflecting on their sustainability report.
Mhm. Okay. Thank you. Throughout, parang medyo nagiging challenging yung reporting when all the frameworks come in na, no? But for you, what do you think is a key challenge a practitioner may face during the reporting process, especially if it's his or her first time doing it?
I think it's overwhelming because, well, in my experience, there's no one within your organization who has the master list of information. You have to get information from various line organizations, and if you're a holding company, you have to get it from your subsidiaries. And there's no one within those organizations na isang tao lang yun. That is really the case. So you have to talk to a lot of people, and sometimes you have to convince them to disclose the information, especially if previously it is not reported or not required by any regulatory requirement. So again, given the evolution of sustainability reporting, hopefully it is now easier for any in-house sustainability report preparer to do this, because right now at least you have an SEC requirement, unlike before na talagang iko-question ka ng mga tao, bakit mo pinapa-require na i-disclose, wala naman nagsasabi na i-disclose. Yun.
Ngayon meron tayo requirement yan ng regulation.
Ngayon,
That's true.
diba?
Okay, so given that challenge then, and sabi mo, it's a lot of coordination and also convincing other departments, frontline managers, no, to disclose information. Related to that then, if I were the sustainability practitioner or report preparer, what skills would help me, or what experiences, resources would help me in driving the reporting process of my organization?
Well, personally, there's no specific skill. I think it's more on having a right mindset and making sure that you know how to work on what you have, focus on the resources that are readily available. And since you're writing for the first time, it is also very important to identify the low-hanging fruits or the data or the information your company is willing to disclose. So that would make your data gathering easier. So yeah, so there's no specific skill. I think it's having the right mindset. And yun. Siguro there's no technical skills, more on people skills siya. Kasi kailangan mo kumausap na maraming tao eh. Yun.
That's true. Actually, parang sabi nga, kung hindi kailangan may technical skills, but because you have the people skills, you can easily get the resources that you will need. Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. My next question would be, if I were not a publicly listed company naman, kasi I'm not required, for example, why would I bother with reporting?
I've experienced this with my previous organization. Hindi naman sila publicly listed company, but they put a lot of effort in terms of having a good sustainability report, not for everybody else, but for the organization. Because once you have a truthful sustainability baseline of your organization, you can create a lot of initiatives for your company in terms of sustainability. I think it would be better pa nga if it is not a requirement, because you can be as truthful as you can. Because of course, aminin na natin, because you know na it will be publicly disclosed, sometimes you have to tell a good story. But if you're gonna use it internally, it can be a very good tool for your management as a reference, and to your middle managers to use it as a guide in terms of creating products, services, improve processes within the organization. It can be a good um, guide for anyone to really do sustainability report. Less
Mhm.
pressure, ano, hindi required eh.
Oo nga. Tsaka I really like your point na parang it goes beyond communicating and telling a good story eh. Pero nagiging strategic tool yung reporting for the company. And that's something first-time reporting can latch on when it comes to getting buy-in from management or helping the whole team realize na, oh, this reporting process actually makes sense. So,
True.
to cap off siguro our line of, this is very helpful for our first-time reporters, no? Since ikaw, you've been there, you've gone ahead of the journey in reporting, what advice would you give for our first-time sustainability reporters?
Um, Stretch your patience because it's gonna be a long, long way and you're not gonna perfect it. I promise you. Walang perfect process in terms of preparing your sustainability report. Taon-taon, iba-iba yung challenges na may encounter mo, and for your data owners or your mga data partners for the sustainability report, it's gonna be a hand-holding process until 5 years or more than that. So it's gonna be a long, long process. Hindi siya it can't be perfect. Walang perfect formula in report preparation. So just make yourself um, available for your data providers. Just make sure you have all the patience every time they ask questions, especially when they ask questions. Kahit na minsan pa ulit-ulit. Yeah.
Thank you for that advice, Abby. I'll take that into account then. So, thank you so much, Abby. Super helpful ng
you.
ating interview. Siguro to end our interview, I just wanted to super thank you, and maybe if you have any last words or last piece of advice for our audience who are starting into the reporting journey, o kaya yung mga nandun na, yung mga nagre-report na ever since. Like,
Just do it. Like minsan kapag patapos na yung report, parang feeling mo, ayoko na. Pero again, gagawin mo ulit ito for the next year. And then again, gagawin mo ulit the next year. Just make it a worthwhile because it's a very tedious process. So just make sure that you always have the right information para you're also able to give a good advice to your top management with your data, because you're the master of all the information within your organization. Actually, it's a blessing if you see it that way. So just continue learning. Again, it's gonna there's no perfect process, so be kind to yourself. Yun. So just continue doing it.
thank you so much, Abby. Just do it. I like that. So, thank you, super. I hope we can invite you again for our next topics because, reporting process is a really, really big topic and we can't congest everything in a 15-minute call. So, thank you so much, Abby, for being our guest here at SustainablePH. So,
Thank you.
Thank you. See you next time.
Thank you.
Ayan. Thank you so much again to our guest. We learned a lot, and I think ang key takeaway ko from our call with Abby, in her advice for first-time reporters is having the right mindset and the right information will help you get through your first reporting. And it's a good point that she talked about how it's a process and you got to have that long-standing patience. Kasi just like any sustainability journey, reporting is also a process. So if it's your first time, I hope it to be reporting of, or if you're still contemplating whether your company could benefit from writing a sustainability report. I hope this video helped you. And I hope we could see you again in the next episode, wherein our next host naman, Marks, our ESG data guy, will have a very special topic related to that. Before I end our show for tonight, I just would like to take the time to invite you to our community of sustainability practitioners. So if you are also a sustainability practitioner like me, Abby, and our co-hosts, Marks and Chantel, please feel free to join our community and just register through the link displayed here at our video screen. So with that, thank you so much and hope to see you again.